active duty troops have now arrived at the southern border, and Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, says military planes will deport every migrant every day.
Is that going to be a constant commitment from the U.S. military every single day to take deportees out?
Yes.
So is this what we will see every single day, ending in what the president has promised is millions and millions being deported?
Yes. But you can see the numbers steadily increase, the number of arrests nationwide as we open up the aperture. Right now it's concentrating public safety threats, national security threats. That's a smaller population. So we're going to do this on priority base, as President Trump's promised, but as that aperture opens, there'll be more arrests nationwide.
So you warned. They're warning you right now. They're letting you know the same way that they were letting you know prior to the election, when the election happened, that when they get in office, not a matter of if, when they get here, it's coming. So the question shouldn't be if you are going to get deported, if you are here illegally. The question is when. And so now that we're getting things back in order, and it's going to be uncomfortable for a lot of people for a long time because they're not used to doing things orderly. They're not used to being held accountable. The whole insane asylum has been ran by the inmates for long enough. And so the first set or the first wave of people that they're going after, and they didn't waste any time. They didn't have to ramp up. They didn't have to figure it out. This president has been presidenting for a long time prior to him even getting into office. He's been doing the job without any compensation. He don't even get paid for it. And so when you see what is happening across the board, if you are doing things the wrong way, because I just did a video where the guy said that he'd been here since 1994, operating a business, that he's not a criminal, he pays taxes. How don't you have legal status within 30 years? It's something else that's a part of the story that you're not sharing with us. And so it's important for people to prepare themselves. Get in touch with your family that you've been sending money back to over the last 30 years. Talk to the people, talk to your family. Don't sit here and act like a victim. You knew that this was coming. People know. It's just like the federal workers that knew that they was going to have to go back into work. Well, now you sitting there saying, oh my God, I only got a month and a half, 2 months to get myself together. You knew that this was going to be happening. You knew that this was the mandate. I think that people think that politicians in this country, they don't take them serious because we not used to politicians keeping their promises. Promises made, promises kept in this situation. And you're going to have to man up. And I don't see why people are so opposed to people that are illegal in this country and people that have not been doing what they're supposed to do for long enough. And now you got to pay the piper. Now you got to start being accountable and responsible for what you got going on. There's another wave of people that's basically mad that we don't have slave culture here in the United States of America anymore. Because one of the things that they're saying is, well, who going to pick our crops? Who going to do the jobs that we don't want to do? Are you listening to yourself?
Raids are now underway, and the far-left resistance appears to be cracking. At least 7 Democrat-led cities remain defiant, including Boston, but Massachusetts governor is beginning to change her tune.
If the Trump administration requests it, would the Massachusetts State Police assist in mass deportations?
No, absolutely not. Every tool in the toolbox has got to be used to protect our citizens, to protect our residents, and protect our state. I wouldn't.
What about the people that's actually legal residents inside of your state?
Rather than as raids, it seems to be is what we expected and what I support, which is the apprehension of criminals in our communities.
What a change in tune. Ms. Lisa Booth, I come to you. You know, there's a lot of blue state Democrats who said they're not going to help Donald Trump. The mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, is another one of those individuals.
Yeah,
Do you think these elected officials who are clearly obstructing ICE should face consequences, including jail time?
I do. I think they should. I mean, they're breaking the law and they're putting their citizens at risk. I mean, you look at some of these people that they're protecting. I mean, one day alone, they got over 530 illegal immigrants caught. 373 were criminals. You look at rapists, attempted murderers in the midst, pedophiles in the mix as well that were all caught
That's
up in this
crazy.
one-day roundup by the new Trump administration. I loved the clip when you had the Haitian gang member with 18 convictions in recent years, and he said, "I'm not going back to Haiti, F Trump, Biden forever," which kind of tells us everything. But beyond that,
exactly.
you had Tom Homan, the Borders Are, on the Will Cain show, and he was asked about it, and he goes, "Well, he's wrong. He's going back to Haiti." But so, very forceful message there. But what Congress needs to do when they look at this reconciliation package coming up and this budget matter, we have to get funding for the Trump administration to do their job. It's going to cost money to do these mass deportations. You've got 55% of all 55% of Americans want to deport all legal immigrants, according to the New York Times. The American people are behind Trump. This was one of the top issues. Yeah. Congress has got to get it done, but Trump needs the funding. The Trump administration needs the funding to get it done.
I agree. And I think that another big issue is these politicians, they think that just because they're politicians or that they were voted on in office, that they can break the law and they could obstruct justice, that they can prevent the Trump administration and everybody in between from being able to do their job and take care of business and ensure that the American people are safe. I mean, for God's sakes, we got pedophiles and rapists amongst the group of people that are walking around inside this country illegally. On top of that, we monitor the people that are on the offenders list. We can go online and see where they're supposed to be, where they live, how many of them are in your cities and your states and all of this stuff. You can actually see the locations. They have to report and stay away from schools and all of this stuff. But we have people running around, walking around that's not even supposed to be inside of this country that have committed some of the most heinous crimes against Americans, including Laken Riley.
There's some polling that shows over 60% of
Well,
Americans
they're different questions, but that was
65.
for, I think, criminals, and then the 55% was for all illegal aliens.
Yeah,
Same poll,
that's
but
right.
different questions.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, Molly, you are from, no, you're not from Massachusetts, but you live there.
Yeah.
What are people feeling about the government's sentiment about deporting migrants?
Yeah, it's been a pretty incredible week in Massachusetts, and Bill Melugin and Jeremy Kopis, they were up there doing this incredible ride along with ICE, in which the video with the Haitian man came through that incredible storytelling that they did. But over the course of even around 6 months, there have been more than 24 sex offenders captured by ICE as they've been working all of this time. Wow. So there is a concern in these communities in Massachusetts, broadly across the nation, about what criminals being in the community that shouldn't be here at all. But it's been fascinating to watch the Massachusetts governor change her tune to a certain extent, most glaringly on that particular point where she said the state police would not cooperate back in November, and then just the other day saying cooperation by my administration through the state police, by others in local law enforcement, will continue with our federal authorities. State police will cooperate. That's always been the case.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting to see a change in
case, and that's why we hate politicians, because they lie. But this administration is one of the rare ones where promises made, promises kept is happening.
It is notable that Massachusetts does not shy away from electing Republican governors from time to time. So there may be perhaps a little bit of that also in the Democratic minds across the state, the blue state, that this is perhaps what people are looking for, and they want to see that shift politically as well.
Maybe it's time.
Massachusetts is interesting because Boston and Massachusetts, one of the things that you're seeing, it wasn't as widely reported on because you had so much chaos happening in Chicago and New York and all of these other Democratic cities. Massachusetts is an interesting case because if you looked at Chicago during the whole last administration, 2021 through 2024, and almost 2025, you seen migrants sleeping in police stations. They were sleeping all through the airport. They were harboring them. The Biden administration seemed to be helping to fund and justify this whole operation, but maybe they couldn't get as much funding through Congress, so they just told them to bear the brunt of this and be a good Democrat, as Eric Adams indicated. But Boston was similarly doing the same thing. You know, they had them sleeping overnight and all of this stuff, and so they were hiding theirs more. Atlanta, very much a similar situation. There were hidden rooms in which they had migrants coming through in and out, back and forth, and so on and so forth. And so politics is a dirty, dirty game. It's still being played at a high level, and we're not aware of it, but it's definitely being played. Y'all let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. We got Stock Club coming up. Also, Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order, plus 20% off of life. Y'all let me know what y'all think inside of the comments, because I think that it's absolutely disrespectful to the American people to think that we're not intelligent enough to remember, and they messed around and found out during this last election cycle that we have short memories because we've been programmed by social media to only look at the short-term stuff. But I think that we are absolutely aware of what's going on, and that's why the American people voted the way that they voted. Y'all let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.